appointment with you tomorrow.
Come
He's
get it.
booked.
Do you have anything free?
Check my schedule. You know
Check
how it
right
goes.
now. Just check right now. We got some time.
I got it on me. It's in the laptop. It's on my calendar.
Great intro, guys.
Yeah.
Really getting the listeners
Hell
going.
yeah.
Yeah. So anybody who's looking to book a session, better get at me early.
Just don't take my time slot.
We got updates. After our last interview with Wags at Books for Kids, they grew their page by almost a third. So 110 of our friends like their page.
Which is awesome.
It is, because it's an active page. Like,
Yeah.
there's really no reason that people shouldn't be following it.
Yeah.
You know, they just didn't have quite the community support that we've been talking about so much. You know, just
I mean, the literal epitome of what we're striving to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's nice to be able to
Yeah, that's more.
lay
what I was
some
saying.
groundwork, especially with everything going on. The fact that we can even, just do something like that, get some likes on the page, gain some
sure.
traction.
well, luckily for me, when I sent all the invites out, there's probably more people with eyeballs on Facebook right now than ever.
This is true as
Yeah.
well.
So,
This is true.
you know, I mean, I think I sent like 700 or 800 invites out. I probably know 500 of those people. And we got 110 people that, cared enough to take a look at their page. So exposure's exposure,
Yeah,
marketing's
for sure.
marketing. I don't care how you do it. You know what I mean?
Especially right now. Like any set of eyes on your page, especially for somebody like that,
Right.
that's really good.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
they
time to
probably can't really
capitalize.
run any events right now or do
No.
anything. They're paralyzed right now, probably.
Yeah, I mean, just like everybody else,
Everybody
which
else.
is kind of why we're doing this and inviting people in, just because it's so hard to market for a charity, man, and we beat
Yeah.
that one to death. If you just, if you're too focused on the charity, you can't market. If you can't throw events, you can't market. It's a difficult world to navigate right now. But, lucky for us, too, we're booked until September.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks from now, John Haberberger,
Johnny,
Midwest Bank Center. Is he still with Midwest Bank?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
good.
make sure you weren't shouting out the wrong company.
yeah. yeah.
Gonna say due diligence a little late, but that worked
You
out.
guys did an event together.
No, we've done a couple like networking events together.
Right.
Yeah, and no, I'm excited to have him on because he's got a lot. We can pick his brain a little bit about what he does to network, and he's just a really hard worker.
He is a
know?
really hard
So-
worker.
So I'm really excited to get him on and let some people listen and pick his brain a little bit. Plus, hopefully he can bring some listeners our way too.
We had that giant meeting with him, us, makes 4.
Yeah.
Chef Matt was in the building. Remember?
Yeah, how
we
was
ate all
he, by
those
the way?
Shrimp. We were
Is he-
eating steak and lobster and stuff that night. There
Yeah.
had to be more than 5 people there. Who else?
Jack Weaver.
I was
Jack
gonna say,
Weaver was there. That was a good meeting.
Who
I mean,
else?
We really,
Was there somebody? Was that it?
it seems like it was a
Yeah,
big meeting,
you're
man. We
right.
took a couple tables.
That was at Babes.
Chef brought a whole
Yeah.
bunch of fermented orange shrimp, which I never thought I was going to eat.
Yeah, that was good.
All kinds of food, yeah, and then we parlayed that into a steak and lobster evening at Colin's house.
What? No. That was
That was the
Corey's
same night.
house. Yeah, Corey's.
Oh yeah, at your house.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
We were
Had
That
Chive
lobster we had to
lobsters.
Yeah,
salvage, right?
Yeah,
Is
we
that
didn't
the
have
one
a
that
choice.
got dropped off?
Yep,
Yeah.
that was a fun night. But
We
yeah,
saved
that
that
was a
lobster.
good night.
the
by
reason I
eating it.
thought of that meeting specifically is because John went back to work.
Right after that.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
after that. I mean,
Oh,
he was,
yeah.
he was welcome to come hang.
And if
but-
you see him Monday through Friday, you don't see him without a suit on.
Right.
yeah, I mean, he's
Yeah.
always working,
Yeah.
and I mean that's who you want in your corner
Yes.
when you need a loan on your home. Because if those guys don't meet their deadlines, you're toast.
It's really just that's the kind of person you want to work with. You know what I mean?
For surely
In any
from
of it.
our side of things.
Yeah, in every single one of our industries, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not only is he going to get the job done in a timely fashion, but he's just going to do it right, and shoot you straight.
Mhm.
You get that feeling from him right away.
Right, like is
And
the
I will
person.
say, with all this automation, it's unfortunate, and it's not across the board, but sometimes it's just that much easier to pass the buck and then let it come back and bite you later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So somebody who's, like Kazi said, going to do their due diligence and get it done right the first time is like, there's no price you can put on that.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that guy working harder than you?
Yeah.
Because if he's not, fire him. Like
Yeah.
somebody else
Right.
will work hard for your
Yeah.
business. I promise.
they
There's
will.
enough loan officers, insurance agents, and real
Real
estate
estate
agents
agents.
in this city.
Yeah.
Bingo.
No shortage. Anywho, we don't want to spend too much time on him. We'll move on 2 weeks. We got the Buddy Fund coming in. Corey LaSure, Thomas Wazalowski. So they both sit on the board. Buddy Fund's been in St. Louis, I guess, since the 60s. It was a former Cardinals baseball player.
Oh,
Can't
yeah?
remember his name. Set it up. I think at the core, it was providing sports equipment but they just do so much more with coaching
Kind
and
of expanded over
Yeah.
time.
I talked to Corey. Yeah,
I'd be
he
very
said
up for
even
that.
to the point where they've built facilities with showers and stuff like that because these kids don't have that. Oh, you might not have hot water
type
at
of
home,
luxuries,
stuff like
yeah.
that. Yeah. So
Are they lower income neighborhoods, or what's are they
I don't think that.
targeting schools, or
I don't think it matters. I really don't. I think that they're kind of in for
I would guess
whoever
first and
wants to play ball.
foremost wherever ball's not being played. to be
Wherever the
honest.
need
wherever
is,
there's
yeah.
not organized.
Justin
Types
Kickett in
of-
the house.
I didn't know if we should shout them out.
Trying
or
to
what.
sneak in. Yeah, we gotta
Always.
shout him out.
What up, what up?
When the owner of Overtime Studio walks in.
Yeah, right. I was trying to
Say
stay
hey.
composed though, stay
Are
poised.
you?
You know.
Oh, sorry.
We got the cameras rolling.
That's a rare attribute.
But
for
I
you
talked to
anyway, so
Corey.
I respect that.
And he's actually a former client of mine. Him and his fiance bought a house with me in U City. So that's kind of where our friendship started. But this dude's energy is like through the roof. He makes you look slow, Colin.
Really?
Oh my God, you guys are gonna love him. So I mean, he's over a month out when we had first talked about it, and he just could not stop talking, telling me each and every little detail. Then he called me back. He knows a kid, this Thomas Wesolowski. They're on the board together, and they've known each other since kindergarten. So he wants to bring Thomas in. I'm like, dude, yeah, absolutely, you know. So I think that'll be a really good interview.
What do
Sounds
they
like the
do for a
perfect
living?
fit.
What does he do for what does he do?
Corey is an accountant at AB,
Oh, okay.
and I don't know if he runs a team, but he's in some sort of
Okay.
management. And then Thomas is a a commercial property manager for a company that's evading me right now. One of the most popular.
Cushman Wakefield.
Yep, there it is.
Either
That's
way,
the
I was
one.
gonna say
Mhm.
both sound perfect for the
Yeah,
network circle.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're good guys, and then Corey can tell everybody how good of a real estate agent I am,
Yeah.
since I am the best. I'm kidding. 2
Did
weeks.
Did you leave
You
him?
better
about
not
10
be
minutes,
kidding about that.
10 minutes to give you a good
10
testimony.
minutes, yeah. we're doing a 90-minute episode, so it'll be our
Give me what you got.
normal
What you really
60
think.
minutes, plus another 30 minutes on me, just stroking my ego, because
Yeah,
I need
good.
it. 2 weeks after that, August 24th, is going to be Pedal the Cause, which is super cool, because
Yeah.
we talked about that last week.
I've heard a lot about that charity too.
They don't really need our help with the fact that Corey's going to come out and do it. So Corey Austin is the development manager and also a cancer survivor. Pumped for that interview because they do have to do a virtual event this year. So I'd really like to see how they intend to provide value for a
Sure.
virtual event, which is kind of something that I've been noodling with just in case.
Have you guys been to any virtual events, like virtual auctions, or
Not yet.
No.
no? Yeah, me neither.
But in the
I just-
fitness world, it is definitely something good to kind of just incorporate some accountability, like I always try to do with my online approach, you know, because one virtual aspect would just simply be recording, you know, going out solo mission, riding some miles, recording it, and then, you know, shipping it back over. I have no idea how they're going to do things, but
I was
I'm just
begging
saying,
you
you know,
to,
that's kind
to
of an
film
aspect.
classes and put them online for Facebook like 3 months ago, but you were just too busy.
Yeah, I'm
You can
going to
film me
say, you can just
anytime.
come to the dojo, you know what I'm saying?
I get after.
Right, which is why you didn't want to give it away for free,
You
but
know,
there's so
some
many
trade
people that
secrets
would,
in there for surely.
yeah, I think there's people that would find value in that and ultimately would come back to you in person.
I dig that. It's definitely on the radar for down the line when I have some time for surely. But, you know, like I keep saying, if I got the in-person clientele coming, then that's my main priority. So
Yeah, exactly.
for surely, we'll get there. It's never bad to have options down the road.
As far as virtual events go, I did noodle with that a little bit with Steve Bowman, who I think we need to have on sooner rather than later.
For sure.
All
I mean,
about
dude,
it.
He watches, he listens, he shares. You know, we'll talk about what he's got going on here in a little bit. But a virtual event where this whole thing started was I was kind of informally invited to a virtual charity night. And I've said it more than once. I don't want to go to your charity night in person. I mean, it just, everybody does it. Every Hibernian meeting we go to, we get invited to 3 of them. I
Yeah.
just don't see the value anymore because it's kind of like a watered down. It's not so much lazy, it's just that these people don't have.
It more depends on what it is, like a trivia night, or you know, like if you're just gonna throw a trivia night, you know, and throw together some questions. You know, I don't know. I
Is
think
it played
everybody's
out
done
is
that.
really the...
Yeah.
I'm not
the
dying to
aspect.
go,
Yeah.
man. You know, it just.
So you know what else we could incorporate? Coming up with a few...
I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna incorporate.
Well, before that, before I forget, coming up with a few out-of-the-box ideas and then basically spinning the wheel or having, you know, some type of vote or something on what people would maybe like to
You
see
mean like
and then
throwing them up here,
building around it.
Before
throwing them
we
up here and
actually,
randomizing it?
Yeah, I mean, more like hypothetical spin the wheel, but for surely we
Sure.
can make an actual wheel too.
Yeah,
I'm all
that's
about
right.
that. Yeah, I'm with that for sure.
So that kind of what I was thinking, and we would have to iron out a whole bunch of details on where money is going, stuff like that. It would be maybe virtual mouse races.
Well, I could dig that again now more than ever with automation and everything. I mean, transparency is fairly simple. If whatever charity that we link up with, or
I'm
if we
gonna be
decide
honest,
to distribute funds.
I don't really know how
ourselves.
mouse races work. Like I don't know how the betting or things like that
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
But
we
if
might
we did
wanna
something
go a little
like
less
that,
complicated to
and
start,
then
but
The Gabe's picnic was canceled.
yeah, that's
I
rough.
know you're still a little salty about that one, but we could
That's an
also maybe
understatement, but
do
yeah.
some over under, some chuck-a-luck. What else do they have?
Now that I'm with, but you better make sure that we don't get any gambling type of cartels on our tail about not following their rules. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the rules on something like that is if it's all donations anyway.
Yeah, I
It's-
get. Yeah,
it's
I
not-
mean,
not
I'm sure there's
shady,
got to be an
I'll admit
aspect
that.
to that, but there might be some ways we need to legitimize it first. But
Yeah, so like where it went back to was the trivia night that I had seen were tables of 10, and it was $10 a head, and that was kind of it. You just
Mhm.
sign onto your computer and you play trivia. Well, I'm not sure that people are going to pay you $10 and even show up. So what I was thinking maybe is like a myriad of different things, like a carnival night or something along those lines, a informal gambling night. I don't know yet, but also we could whip up a whole bunch of Jello shots, get some microwave popcorn. I don't know what else. Name it. Whip up a gift basket. So if somebody agrees to host our virtual event, and there's maybe 4, 6, 8, 10 people there, you drop it off so that way you can show a little value, show that you care, and you're not just shaking somebody down for a buck.
Yeah.
true.
They got their night catered to some extent.
Make a whole night of it.
But now that you're saying
Make a
this,
whole
this,
night
this
of
is
it.
one of the only
And
times
if you
that
take the time
trivia
to do
does
that,
sound
somebody
appealing
will-
to me.
they'll-
Trivia where you don't got to leave your
they'll
house,
get involved.
that might be all right.
It could be.
Team trivia.
I think that the only way that we can push virtual trivia is if we show up with a gift basket or something to show a personal touch, just one
Yeah.
touch.
Yeah.
You drop it off to somebody, and they're more
Yeah.
likely to get involved and not let you down.
Or just incentivize them to join in the first place,
Yeah.
which I feel what
Exactly,
you're saying.
yeah.
I get that.
I mean,
I guess, but that aspect applies universally. You know what I'm saying? Whatever we're gonna get them to do, there's probably gonna be some key incentivization involved
there's gotta be.
for sure.
I mean, that's kind of the core thing. People don't mind donating, but if you
Right.
donate and they just don't get anything back, I mean, we can't.
Well, that's
we
our
can't
whole
show
premise.
exchange, right? Like,
yeah,
if
that's our whole premise.
pick a
is to
charity, we
give
can't
something
solve
back
their
in return.
issue,
Right.
but we can help.
And generally, our thing is that we want to provide some source of entertainment, really, at the base of it, right?
Yeah.
Like with Hair of the Dogtown. So now more than ever, to a distraction, for lack of a better term, from the mundaneness of life right now would be key. So
Sure.
anything we get going, I think that's what I'm saying in the aspect that trivia almost sounds more appealing. Like sit around. I don't know how everybody does it now with one of those little virtual chat rooms or whatever, but
I don't know if we come
Throw
up with
that
a
up.
point system and make it a competition.
But yeah, I mean,
or-
either way, I'm just using trivia because there's a basis to it already, and most people are familiar. But whatever we do, that would be the aspect. You know what I'm saying? We could certainly do something that's more entertaining and not as played out as that.
yeah. I
but
mean, or
right
you just
now,
sprinkle some trivia on top of
the
whatever else we're
virtual
gonna be doing.
trivia is, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely. Now you're spinning my wheels
There
as we
you go.
get going. Yeah, I'm starting to pick up on you a little bit. Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of aspects at play there. I mean, just this is way down the line, but like, there's even, we could get some type of virtual game. Like the Amsterdam on occasion has a FIFA tournament here or there,
Mhm.
and proceeds go to wherever. I mean, now you got like Twitch and all these live streams and stuff. You
Sure.
know, we could really put a spin on this,
Huh.
make it for all ages. That type. I mean, if you're incorporating. Everybody gets on. Who knows what game? I mean, I'm sure
open to any.
everybody's
NBA
got to
2K.
play it, but
I've never
yeah,
played before.
whatever it may be, you could do, a sliver for each of them. You could do like a whole little Olympics, really.
Yeah.
But either way, yeah, there's more potential and more ability now than ever.
That'd
So
be cool. NBA, Madden, and FIFA.
yeah, like a little FIFA triathlon or a little, PS3 whatever
That would be cool.
triathlon type of
Good
thing.
idea.
Yeah, spitballing. Throw it at the wall, see if it sticks. You feel me?
Anything besides give
That's
us
what we
some
do,
money
folks.
and watch our show.
Right.
As long as it's
again,
interactive and
you know.
it's, people can find value in it. I don't really care what we do. I think that it's going to be difficult to throw an event. I am a little bit worried that towards the end of the year, we don't know if Hair of the Dogtown's going to be able to happen yet. We don't know that
hopefully.
for certain. Hopefully. But we're going like week by week, day by day right now, so...
Well, I saw Lauren Becker on Wednesday or Thursday last week, and she was saying the same thing. She's like, hopefully we can do that again. That was awesome.
Well,
we will.
She's like, hopefully we can make it even better than we did last year. You know what I mean? Like,
We
typically
will.
when you get a second run at it. And
I think the next day we were already talking about all the different ways we can make that better.
Oh, yeah. Or leading up to it. As we got closer, I think there was a lot of things that we wish we would have done going into it. But
Sure.
all in all, it was a great
Well,
event.
time is your greatest resource.
Yeah.
We were running low on that at the time too, so we pretty much put that together in 4 to 6 weeks or whatever it was.
And I think like with St. Patrick's Day getting canceled, I think if there's any leeway whatsoever, I think Dogtown will let us do it. Hopefully.
Yeah, if you're gonna pick an area,
Yeah.
you might be right. If it's within the city limits, Dogtown might be the most open.
Yeah. Felix is doing some renovations, and so is Tam Avenue too. So I'm looking forward to going back to those places. They're all closed down right now.
We do have one other thing on the agenda. We got a lot of golf tournaments coming up. You're gonna have to dust off the clubs, buddy.
This is what I was just saying, We're about to have some of our treacherous territory that we got into last year. I mean, we'll learn how to navigate a little bit more efficiently, you know what I'm saying? But I think we're going to have some double days for surely.
You think? I don't
mean,
know
it
if I can
sounded like
handle
it.
any more
September's
charity
pretty
double
much
days, dude.
just popping all the way through.
Not only are they expensive, they're exhausting.
If anybody's watching me right now, I'm about to snag a
Catch that
mosquito
fly.
out of thin air. So if you're wondering why I'm all twitchy.
Anytime you
it
mix
eventually.
golf, though, early in the morning, it's,
Yeah, it makes for a long
especially
day.
in August or September, it's just hot.
Just got to remember to hydrate, you know what I'm saying?
So
Hydration's key.
We all got invited to the Gray Scott golf tournament, the Super Scott Foundation.
Yes,
So Steve Bowman invited us to that.
which we should definitely, have we shared a link for that yet? Should
There's
whatever we can share.
there's
I guess.
limited information right now. There's more to come. What we got invited to is basically like a save the date.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
So
that makes
I
sense.
looked on their website and I didn't find a Facebook page for them, but I honestly didn't even see how to order tickets aside from emailing the person. So it's Lindsay at superscottfoundation@gmail.com. No, Lindsay is her name. The email is superscottfoundation.
Yeah, I sent an email that day that we got tagged in it. I haven't
You haven't heard
checked.
back?
I haven't checked. I'll look
Oh.
though. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't get notifications on an email, like especially from my Gmail. I just haven't looked at it, but yeah, I definitely sent an email on how to register. So
we're probably
figured
gonna
we
go
were
ahead
gonna
and
get
go.
Put that on notice for now. Yeah,
I
for
figured
sure.
we would get on the team. We just
Probably
need
us three and Bowman.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So
I would love to
he's-
see Bowman swing
the-
some clubs as well. Shouts out Bowman. We'll see if he listens.
Does he swing clubs?
I
know he
think
would.
we've gone to Tower T a couple times,
Yeah.
but it's probably been a minute.
Yeah, Tower T's been closed for 3 years.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
So they had twin boys in, I guess, 2015, 2014.
He said they were 6, 14,
Yeah,
15.
he just turned 6, I think. One of them got sick, and I can't even honestly list everything that I read today that they had been through. But most recently, he had open heart surgery.
Yeah.
So I guess this is all going to go towards his medical bills, and
Yeah.
I mean, they're out here grinding, trying to put something together.
Down to champion that cause all day.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, that's the whole thing. Show a little bit of value,
Yeah.
Will I pay off your medical bills? Well, I could if I would, but
Right.
you give me a day of golf, yeah, I'll throw some money to you
Yeah.
guys,
Right.
for sure. So it's $600 a team.
Yeah.
So we need a fourth.
Like we
150,
said,
150
we'll put
yeah,
Bowman. We'll put
150
Bowman
ahead.
in there for
Yeah,
now.
let's definitely get a link.
He
when we
may have a
share-
team.
share
I'm
the
not
stuff.
sure.
Yeah. Either way, we should make it a goal to get a couple teams, so
Yeah,
we'll
for
establish
sure.
our nucleus.
I didn't write it
Grow
down,
up
but I
from
think
there.
it starts a little bit later, which is nice. It's like an 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
then we
they
need to
give
be
you-
wary of that as well, because like I'm saying, if we're gonna double dip again,
Well, it's like they
just
give
make
you
sure we
dinner
don't get
too.
any overlaps. Maybe a little time in between for a nap.
It's September 19th, Normandy Golf Course.
which is a good golf
I
course.
do like Normandy.
Yeah.
I don't know what else we would have going on, to be honest, that same day.
I was just saying that's that time of the year. You got the Denny Fay tournament. You got the anything for a friend. Was their
Bowling
golf
night.
tournament? Was that this past weekend?
That was
Do you
their
know?
golf tournament?
I think so.
Huh.
I'm not totally sure.
I don't know.
The one that I asked you about sponsoring?
Was that this weekend?
I think so. See, but I don't know,
Whoops.
man. It's all. Well, we didn't get a team in it. We just had a couple. We just sponsored a couple holes. I don't know if Cuzzy ended up.
And did
you?
did I pay you for a sponsorship?
Yeah, I think you got it in there.
I think we gotta look.
Yeah.
I think we gotta look and make
We'll
sure.
go with
so
that
you
for
cut
now,
a
but-
check and you're not certain that.
Let's put it on record that I did.
Let's. Yeah, for sure.
That's
for
how much
sure.
suckers we can be. Like, oh, you
Yeah.
get invited to something. Oh, you want to sponsor a hole? Sure.
Well,
Yeah.
you hit me up willy nilly and asked me about it.
Yeah.
And-
Well, I got hit up willy-nilly by the missus, and then I said, yeah, get Progress a spot in there, and then I was gonna do the insurance game as well. She said there's only 2 slots left. I said, well, I don't want to bite off more than I should chew. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I said I don't want to look greedy. Corey Donovan, the insurance agent.
We know
Corey
how much
Donovan,
you
the
can chew,
personal
though.
trainer, hole after hole.
Well,
You know.
you just get 16
It's just
more jobs,
there's a
dude. and
well,
can just
there's
sponsor
such thing
every
as
hole.
overexposure. So Progress got
Yeah.
it done for me. So I said, let's show Cuzzy some
You
love.
could get into plumbing with that mustache.
Well,
Damn right.
I mean, who knows?
Donovan Bros
Luigi.
Plumbing.
Who knows I'm not? You know what I'm saying?
You-
Mario,
you'd be
Luigi,
like-
and your boy.
There is
I'm the
one
Irish Mario
other-
brother.
One other thing that we need to mention about the golf tournament for Super Scott Foundation, and that's Josh Wagman
Yes.
has made an open invitation to anyone. I just saw this on Facebook that if you get a 4-man team and your team beats his team, he will run 4 laps around
that's
Francis
what this
Park.
is for?
Yes, he'll run
Oh,
4
yeah.
laps around
Wow.
Francis Park in any outfit of your choosing.
Sorry, Bowman. I think we might need to get a ringer.
Yeah. Oh. Who's Wags gonna get?
I don't know. He sounds pretty confident.
How often? Yeah.
We
He's
did
gonna
well.
He
get.
just really wants to
He's
run
gonna
around
get
Francis
Mazuka
Park.
for sure, which
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
a bit of a ringer in his own right.
Sure.
And then after that, I can't really tell you. But
He
if
would
Wags
have-
can swing the sticks, Tony's a great scramble guy. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just throwing it out there.
Okay, so they're
You know?
halfway there.
That's
Any
true.
sport, I think I would.
If
probably
Cuzzy
like to pick up
concentrates
Tony.
on the day, then I'm a pretty solid wingman on the scrambles as well. So
Yeah.
Well, where
I
I'm
got like
going
3
with
or 4
this
good
is
shots
that
in me.
we will have a team, but we need to
Right.
reach out to as many people as we can to also
surely.
have teams and take Josh up on his offer. So I
Yeah,
think
no
there's
doubt.
32 teams. You got to think that-
available, right?
yeah, you got to think half of those are already booked. If this
Yeah.
is annual, which I'm not certain it is. So
Either
if
way, we're
we
gonna
could
do all
get
we can
4
to
or 5
promote it,
Yeah,
that's for sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, to promote it and also to embarrass Josh.
Well, of course. Yeah. No, that's what this is what we discussed earlier. Incentivization.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
God.
Yeah,
Just got to get you that much more fired up.
And now that we said it on the podcast, he's got to live up to it. You know?
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's. I think we should already just start trying to decide what he's gonna wear. To
Yeah.
Be honest with you. I said a mask made out of, or a bikini made out of mask. Cause he just said a bikini. I guess we'll take it from there. Or we could go total contrary, see if he can make it 4 laps in like
That's
one
what
of
I'm
those
thinking.
furry outfits. You know what I'm saying? Just
Oh, I
like
was just thinking
super
if he can
insulated.
make it 4 laps, man.
No,
He
man,
said
I-
on the podcast he hadn't worked out in 5 years.
Well, that's what I was
So you
saying.
better start
Progress is
running.
willing to get him back in shape. You know what I'm saying? He's just gonna have to reach out.
Always a
I
plug.
definitely
See
wanna
if we can
see-
make time for him.
I definitely want to see Wags' ass in a thong, dude.
Yeah, I could get down, especially
if
for a
he's
good
willing to
cause.
run- yeah.
For sure.
If it's
Remember,
for a good
gents,
cause.
it's for a good cause.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm about that. Let's put that out there. And then what else were we saying about that? So September 19th is the kind of just iffy
Super
date on
Scott
that.
Foundation. No, that's
Yeah.
a hard date.
That's okay.
There's
so that is
just
set.
more info to come. I
Okay,
don't know what else
got you.
they're
Well,
putting
then that's
out.
all good news. Then cool. Yeah. So we're in there. Sign us up for that one. Bowman. We'll see if he listens.
He listens.
He listens.
We'll,
Yeah,
we'll
I know.
get
I'm
in
just
there.
giving him shit.
He might already
He should
have
probably
a team.
just be like our chief social media promotional officer. Really, we'll put him and Jim Stout on detail.
Sure.
Yeah,
Shout out to Jim Stout. He pretty much listens and shares.
heavy
whenever
spitballs today, guys. Heavy spitballs. This is a good brainstorming session.
It is.
So let's just do that. The next thing is then I just know around that time, obviously, because that's like the 4 weeks out of the year, give or take, that we have maybe good weather. So, a lot of people like to get things in, and especially now with everything up to this point, you just got to think that the calendar's just like gradually getting squished more and more together. Whatever
Sure.
time we are going to have, if we have any, to do any face-to-face functions by the end of the year. So then there's that tournament. Then there's the Anything for a Friend tournament. Bowling. and then there's the Denny Fay Memorial Golf Tournament as well.
Potentially
and then
same day.
end of August, we've got Pedal for a Cause for sure.
That's
know.
virtual.
Okay. Well, it's still going to be taxing nonetheless. I'm guessing you probably have to hop on one of those. What
I
are they
have
called?
no idea how they're doing it. I figured I would just let Corey talk it out.
Computers.
Yeah, cuzzy. Computers.
So-
yeah, fucking ride your computer bike. Making me cuss and shit. No, like the it starts with like the
Peloton.
Peloton. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I got
don't-
a Star Track.
Well, then
it's
again,
like a
I was
Peloton,
saying, like,
but
if
it's
you have
from
any type of,
1989.
if you have any
Oh,
type
yeah.
of fitness tracker, then usually
Looks like
there's
he's
some
got a
type
fan
of.
in the front.
I think.
Yo, those are actually legit.
I
Yeah,
think
I know.
maybe
Those are
they
very.
set,
the ones like
Yeah,
this.
they
those are
set
real.
like a
Those are real
mileage
legit.
goal, and if you beat the mileage goal, that's kind of your thing. So maybe people sponsored by the mile this year. I really have no idea.
I would love to learn more about that as well, because that's what the first first half marathon Cuzzy and I did. I was very interested in, if you're gonna endure that suck anyways, then you might as well use it. Use your
Right.
platform for some type of promotion for a good cause.
Gonna be
But
doing it anyway.
I couldn't. Yeah, so I guess there's a type of blueprint there. I'm positive.
When did you
about
run a
it.
half marathon?
What last
When
last October?
was that?
It was a
before Hair of the
Halloween
Dog
one.
Town?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like 3 weeks before. It was a Halloween one, but it was the weekend before Halloween. I
We were
believe.
just talking about Jim Stout. He ran one with no training.
Yeah, nothing.
Just up and ran one.
Yeah, and I
Really?
think
I don't know.
he.
Yeah, we weren't. we
all
weren't
things
as
considered,
cohesive.
he finished with
Really?
with an impressive
A couple
time.
years ago, he was
Really?
supposed to be training, but he was hanging out with us instead.
Mhm.
So
I remember, and the day of, he was just like, "Well, I gotta
What?
show
I'm gonna
up."
do it.
he just
Yeah.
went and did it. My dad ran a full marathon on accident.
Well, that's what's up.
I just heard that
You
story.
didn't see the exit.
No, the way he tells it, he just ran until they told him to stop. So in the military, if you are a runner, you get an extra half-hour break, or you did at one point an extra half-hour break per day to run. So he went ahead and ran. I mean, he ran cross country, but you're not going to get that extra 30 minutes if you don't do it. So you might as well
Right.
just do it, right? So I guess one of these days he always had a trophy or several trophies for running. That's what he goes, I got that for running. I ran X amount of miles in a year. Like they gave you one if you ran 1,000 in a year. It's like
Shit, okay.
2-3 miles a
Didn't know
day.
your pops with David Goggins, but that's
Something
what's up.
like that, yeah. But then, my mom found one in the basement when they were cleaning it out. She's like, "What is this?" This is for a marathon. He had no idea. He just thought that they were all running that day, and that's what they did. So
That's hype.
That was last week.
That's
I
how-
just joined one. Just out jogging.
yeah, he didn't even know.
Yeah, so on ours, it wasn't any aspect like that, but shouts out Justin Ward. He did have his bachelor party conveniently the day before, luckily, so I was
You
able
still
to
ran?
space myself out a little bit. But yeah, still got it done.
Oh,
Thank God we
yeah.
did some actual training for that one. That was
I do remember.
I had
that
a
one.
few beverages and some late night stacks, definitely bubbling, but got it done under my time too. I think 9:59 average. Cuz he did it, but technically speaking, there's no record of it, cuz
How's that work?
he did just keep running.
Mhm.
That's what he did.
So it works because Hannah, I think, had signed up for a 10K, right?
Yeah.
Or 5K, 10K, and so you run the same route. You just get off at a different exit for the 10K, and so I just looped around and kept going, and just didn't stop. And then when I saw the exit for the half marathon, because did they do a full? I don't think they even did a full marathon.
No, it was just a 10K and a half. Yeah.
But I mean, if we're gonna go out and say it on record, I was what 10 minutes before you.
Again, on record, technically there's literally no record.
Let's just put it
so-
this way: I was
I
at the
ran
finish
it,
line waiting.
And Cuzzy ran a
Yeah.
2-hour 10K
Flat
on
yeah,
record.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, word to Cuzzy. I mean, it's solid motivation. I'm gonna just absolutely put him in the dirt next time. But it
Yeah.
was nice to give him a little bit of glory. You know what I'm
That's what
saying?
you said this time.
But on that note, that's what I think is, you can basically do something where you set up a time for yourself, try to keep beating your average, and then something along the lines of, basically can rack up donations on if you surpass your goal,
Mhm.
if you meet your goal, that
Per
type
lap,
of thing. So
something
yeah,
like that.
so that's what, I think that may be a little bit of the aspect that they're using for, we'll let, who's coming in again? What's her name?
Corey?
Yeah, we'll let Corey speak more on
How'd
that.
you
think
forget
I
that? Yeah.
think I remember that one, huh?
Woo.
Now I'm curious. Do we know how she spells it?
CORI.
Ugh. It's tough. Sorry, Corey. That's tough. All right. Anyways, though, I am very curious about that, and then we can take that and do something with it in the future as well. So
Yeah,
that'll
I
definitely
think-
be cool.
And I mean, she already thanked us just for having us on because this event is going to be so different. You know, they're
Right.
probably still
Well, again, yeah,
they're somewhere spitballing right now, just like we're doing. You know, to make sure that this thing
yeah.
goes
And the
as
more
clean as you
exposure you
can
get at this stage of the game, you
in
know
this
what I'm saying?
environment. Yeah, and I
So
appreciate
that's exactly
that.
what our goal is.
Hustling as hard as you can in this environment because it is getting weird. We've done a pretty good job not bringing negativity into this show.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite the contrary of what we're going for. So I would
Yeah,
hope
just
so.
the
But yeah.
masks and the, you know, everybody has an opinion. Everyone thinks that they're right. I was getting increasingly worried about how people are spending their time because I am a worrier. And I
Mhm.
talked to a few people, and I feel like a lot of the people that I checked in with just to see if they were good were kind of separated into three major categories. And that was A, I lost my job, I'm unemployment, but everything's cool, I'm just going to wait this out. I'm happy to hear that. B, being I had a pay cut or I lost my job, but I'm hustling, I have opportunity, whatever, you know, just got to take it day by day. I'm cool with that. What I really worry about is the people who just kind of are feeling a little bit down right now because we're 4 months into this thing, and if you're not adapting or working a little bit harder or probably
We're just seeing the swing, seeing the change. and-
twice as hard, honestly, and you're just waiting for this year to be over, and that's your only goal right now. That's difficult because we don't really know. This time next year, we could still be in a very similar predicament as we're
Yeah.
sitting.
Yeah, I
talking
don't mean to
about
be
right now.
negative, but you are very far behind the curve if you
Yeah.
haven't adapted at this
Mm-hmm.
point. So one thing I will say to that, which I understand completely, you know, we've all had to do our thing, improvise, adapt, overcome, as Mr. Grills says. Bear Grylls, that is. But
I know who Mr.
Take-
Gross is.
that negative thought process, replace it with whatever your goals are or some type of positive thought, and every time you start getting down, you can literally train yourself to replace that negative thought with a positive thought, and then you will start to see things pan out in another direction. That's all I got to say about that.
I mean, that's a
that's how
difficult
reality
thing
is.
to will yourself to do. I feel like
Well,
if
fuck yeah, if it were easy, everyone would do it,
everyone would
right?
do it, yeah. I feel like if you are not working, you probably have spare time right now, and you know, spare time can go one of two ways. And I'm
Idle
the same
hands
way.
do the devil's work.
yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
you
we
know,
didn't-
so
We didn't.
so it's concerning me to hear people like the jokes were funny back in March
Yeah.
about how this year was cursed or whatever, but it's a time management issue. Really, if your goal is to see what's going on at the end of this year and hit the reset button, that means you got 4.5 months
Oh yeah.
to pick up something new, to do something different. I really
Yeah.
don't know, but it scares me to see people
Time
just
moves so much slower when you don't do anything either. You know what I mean? So
Right.
like you're just gonna be sitting in your.
Hell
You
yeah.
mentioned David Goggins. You're gonna be sitting in your poop pants for 4 months, and that's a long time to be.
Is that what he
sitting there.
calls it?
Poopy pants.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Goggins guy.
Yeah.
I think he's ultimately full of shit. He's entertaining, but I don't
Yeah.
believe everything he says.
Sometimes I like him.
I know a guy like
I
that.
like him. Yeah, actually, I do like him. I don't want to say sometimes,
I'm with that. It's a lot.
but
Either way, the main sentiment remains, which is that I mean, you have two options. Literally, you can get down or you can get up, straight up. So you might as well get up and
And
get
if you
trucking.
got extra time, I mean,
mean,
how
like,
much?
yo,
how
I
many
finished-
coaches have you seen just on time management alone?
So I have a coach right now that I'm working with through one of the carriers that we write insurance with, and that's their biggest thing is time management. They say that's one of the biggest success killers is time management. So
Or
I-
causes of burnout?
yeah, causes of
For
burnout.
surely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say like I've just stuck to the same thing that's always worked for me, and when I deviate from it, I can always get back on track by doing it, and that's setting up my to-do list for the next day the night before,
Absolutely.
and not even prioritizing it, right? Just getting thoughts out of my head onto paper before
Bingo.
I wake up, and then I can prioritize it when I get to the office. But as long as they're there, then my mind's already flowing and I'm focused on the day. You know what I mean? And like
'Cause
you're always
you're-
gonna add a couple more to it,
You're
right?
literally burying it in your subconscious, and
But-
then you can sleep on it. So
but-
the next day, that's gonna be what's there.
Then I pick the first thing, just and it might only it could sometimes it's the one thing that I do all day, you know what I mean, depending on how long it's going to take me, but I focus on that, the most important thing, you know what I mean, what can I delegate? So I look at the list, what can I delegate and what's going to require the most of my time, or you know, like in a simple sense, what's going to make me some money today, you know what I mean, so and then I focus on that. And you know, like I don't fall victim. I used to fall victim to a to-do list, so I was just like keeping myself busy, checking shit off, you know, but it doesn't work if you're not prioritizing either, because what you can do is you're going to get to the end of your day and you're going to still have that, you know, the big thing on your priority list, and you're going to have to do, you know, you're still going to have to do it, right? It could take you 3-4 hours, so you spent all your time doing all this stuff that you probably could have pushed off to somebody else to try to help you out with, and then you still got 3 or 4 hours at the end of the day that you still have to do, and it's your most important thing. You know what I mean? So.
And that did not come naturally to you.
No, God, no.
I don't think it does
God,
to anyone.
No.
If it does, you certainly won't appreciate it enough
and
to
I mean,
maintain it.
you went to high school with me, like you know what kind of student I was, you know, like, and that's what it comes down to. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like
you just weren't in the right environment in a classroom. Either.
Yeah, well, one of our
maybe
teachers
decent,
told
but-
me, like, I had hit him up, you know, shout out to Coach Walsh. I had hit him up after we graduated and was just trying to pick his brain a little bit because I was lost. And he told me, it was like, you know, if you sit at my table and you tell me you want to be successful, but I'm going to tell you right now, I think you're full of shit. And I was like, well, I think about getting rich all the time. You know, I think about making money all the time. You know, I was like, yeah, I'm not full of shit. He's like, I'm only going to say that because if it becomes important to you, you will just do it. You know, and like, and that just made so much sense to me after I left. I was like, dude, he's absolutely right. You know, like this stuff, I'm not making this stuff a priority. You know what I mean? And then I started, you know, you sent me that video probably a year later, what's it called? The ET video.
Yeah.
As Bad as You Want to Breathe, right?
Oh, I
And
did just watch the Nipsey Hussle T-shirt documentary the other day because I was in a bad mood.
Phenomenal
That's-
one.
That's
It's on my
another good
list.
one. We watched that one religiously. I don't mean to cut you off. I
No,
just
it's
want
all
to throw
good.
that in there. We got to link that.
But that video started my professional development. Everything. You know, I started reading books. I don't ever read, but I started reading books, and I recently just read a book by Gary Keller, the owner of Keller Williams, called The One Thing, and that's what it talks about. You know, like it talks about making sure that you get something down on your list and making sure you're working a program. Like stick to the process. You know, and
That's going to be the thing. If we do have to do another 30-day quarantine stint or something like that, it might make you feel like a little kid to write that out. But if you're not staying productive, you're not going to be mentally sound through the winter. You
Bro,
know,
I
if this is
challenge-
still-
but what's
I
kiddie
challenge
about that, though?
anyone, exactly.
what
I
is-
challenge
what is
anyone to
childish
do
about
that for a week. Delegate
Yeah.
your task,
Right.
allocate them accordingly.
Well, I think
Write
you're
it
my
out.
Day
main-
will get at least
Stay
50%
consistent.
better. You know
Right.
what I
And
mean?
not
if
even-
you wake up on a Saturday or Sunday with no work to do, and you sit down and write 2 or 3 things that you could do for that day, that's a
Yeah.
better day.
I
You
mean,
know
it's
what
just less hectic, less stressful if you just
Yeah.
know what you got to do ahead of time and you attack it accordingly.
Yeah.
And what Cuzzy's saying about being professional, that's kind of what I'm trying to say about just in general with all the shit going on right now. Then if you got so much downtime that you can just sit there and dwell, yeah, all right, conditioning your brain to put a negative thought into a positive one, obviously that takes time. And obviously there's some of us whose fire's been forged differently, you know what I'm saying? Like my past year and a half was, you better start making those negative thoughts positive ones, or
Yeah,
this is
Or you're
going to
gonna curl up,
unravel.
you're just gonna
Right.
yeah.
Or this is going to unravel. I always
There's
say...
no pause button.
I always say erode or explode. So those, you know, your emotions, whatever it is, it's either going to erode your foundation away or you're going to take off from that platform. But the main point being is then, yeah, with all this downtime, dude, it's like, I know it's the most cliche thing, but that's literally what progress is based around. If you do one minute thing, daily incremental betterment, one thing every day to get closer towards your goal, then how can you be down on yourself at the end of the day? If you don't read any books right now, read a half a page, then read a page tomorrow, then read 2.
You know those
Like
days.
anything,
you know-
whatever you want to do. That's how it goes. If you want to run,
Go
walk
run.
10 feet.
Walk.
That-
Yeah. Like,
that's how you're gonna get there.
I can't
though.
tell you
Like,
how
it's
many
cliche
times-
as fuck for a reason because it
And
works.
you guys both have probably felt this, where you're sitting there like, and you're like, I don't feel like doing shit today. You know what I mean? Or you're just pissed off about something. You can't even remember what you're pissed off about. But you ever just like get up and go walk around your block, take your dog for a walk, do
I got
whatever?
specific workouts when I feel like taking a nap.
Yeah.
Straight up.
It just
Because
get
I've
moving.
realized unless you got enough time, first of all, for me, naps are just as simple. I said it last week or the last time we were on, but it's simple physics. a body at rest stays at rest, and a body in motion stays in motion. So for me, whenever I get tired, that's when I know, fuck it, go outside, run a couple I mean, literally any. You know, if you're in the office, straight up, when I worked in a steady office environment, you guys remember back then when we could go to offices and stuff, all the way back in 2019. Anyways, I would literally be in my little cubicle, nodding off at my desk, trying to figure out what I had to do next, and I would just crank out a couple push-ups, just something to get your heart rate up, just something to get going. You know what I'm saying? Now I got it to the point where I literally know where my heart rate needs to be for me to switch gears and get that drive
But
back in myself.
I never worried about you getting anything done. Colin's was more of an active process than yours, for sure. I mean, he's hired coaches.
Oh, well,
We've talked about
his is more specific to his profession as well, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, and that brings me back to when Colin closed the biggest deal of his career so far.
Yeah.
Probably.
Was that was last year?
And we
leading
sat
up
at
to
my
Hair of the
house
Dogtown.
and threw darts and talked about this, where he turned everything off for a whole weekend. We were in the middle of this event. He just needed to. That's his process.
Yeah.
Is to shut everything else off. We couldn't get a hold of him. I looked at you and I said, you know what? If this was a different version of him, I'd be really worried.
Right.
Yeah.
But either he's closing this right now or it didn't, and he just needs a moment and we can't get a hold of him. So the ability to block other external things out and focus on the task at hand is a difficult learned task.
Yeah.
For sure.
For a lot of people, you know. For
And
me,
then you
for
learn the
sure.
bliss within it, though. Like,
Yeah.
straight up just disconnecting is
Yeah.
huge. Go to somewhere where you don't have cell phone service for a day.
Well,
Like,
and then
really,
I'll tell
like
you,
something like that, you
once
know?
I got that done, like, you know, like, and once we did actually, you know, close it, it was just like, and that doesn't have to be it for everybody. You know what I mean? It just
No,
takes-
you're just an extreme
yeah,
example,
it
which
just
is why you're so
takes me-
important.
Yeah, just takes me a little, just takes me doing something a little bit different, to focus on the task at
Right.
hand. You know what I mean? And Corey knows, like, with what we do, it's a lot of this shit's so time consuming. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
getting down on applications. You know, some of these applications are 6 to 10 pages long, and you got to do 5, 6 of them. You know what I mean? For every line of business.
And if you miss anything, it's getting
Miss
sent
anything,
back to you.
there's more questions,
Right.
more applications, and it's like it's not. That's what I mean is like that's what I get on here and say, like, insurance is not a commodity. There's a lot of work going on in the back end of
Well, and
things.
I think
Right.
too, like, it happens to me where if you do happen to take a phone call in the middle of that project, it might take you a full 10 minutes just to reset.
Yeah,
And just
absolutely.
be back in the zone.
10
you
minutes
know?
is
That's what we're talking about, writing
30
shit down, too.
30 to an
You know,
hour,
like,
yeah.
that's just time block it. Literally. What do you have to do for that hour? It doesn't even, you don't have to decide. You just set that hour aside and say, okay, well, tomorrow I know I need to do something productive because I have this time to myself, or I have
Yeah.
this
And I don't
time
mean to
do
go on
this.
such a rant. I just want to see everybody do well.
No,
And
I
I'm
dig,
worried
but the
that
biggest
not
thing that
everybody's right now,
I'm
so-
with you on is disconnecting. To be honest with you, like, a lot of people you see it, like, their time would be so much better spent rather than just scrolling through whatever platform, reading all this negative, like, just
Did you
put it
delete your
down.
Did you delete your Facebook app?
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
deleted
you have it
all
on
my
your phone?
I
apps.
got mine on my phone.
You got it on your phone. So, like, I'll say this, like, I don't get on very much. The only way I can get on, because I have no idea what my password is, the only way that I can get on is I think I probably have 3 or 4 Facebooks out there somewhere because I forgot
I think
the
as do
password.
most of us in this generation. But
Yeah,
yeah, I feel you.
But like, I can only get on if I'm in front of my computer and because my password's saved. But dude, that helped me so much.
Yeah,
Like
huge.
and that was something that I did when I began working for the office that I'm at now. Shout out to Kevin Thole, the guy. So Kevin Thole's a guy who owns a Surf Pro franchise, or I think he might own a few of them. But I grew up right across the street from him. One of the greatest guys I've ever met. His dad is awesome. His dad's got a stash like Corey's.
Must be awesome.
Probably better.
Yeah, better. He's just had it forever.
That's
you
fair.
know? I mean,
Seniority. I dig it.
but he told me, like, I had hit him up when I started at American Family, and I was just like, I'm just not seeing the fruits of my labor. I was just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how long I can sit, here and do all this work and reap the benefits that I'm reaping. You know what I mean? There's got to be something more to this job.
See,
He sat me
quick
down and
interjection. Scuzzy's a prime example of going out of your comfort zone for some and reaching out
For help,
to others who
advice.
specialize in certain areas.
And
That's
he's-
not so difficult for him.
He
But
sat down and was like, all right, I want you to take all day today, and then every 15 minutes, I want you to mark down on a piece of paper what you're doing at that time. And I can't tell you, like, how many times it was like checking Facebook, checking LinkedIn, you know, or like doing something else on the computer. You know what I mean? I was like, and he was telling me, he's like, every time you just willy-nilly look at social media, he's like, that's going to take you probably another 20, 30 minutes to get reset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to look back at your screen and get that fire back, you know, and Mick, you know, because I think you make more cold calls and calls to clients than anybody at this table. And that's what I love about you, you know, because there's not a whole lot of realtors
Part of
who
the
are
job.
doing it.
I don't have a choice.
No. It is part of the job, but you can attest to this. There's not a whole lot of people doing it in your job. You know, I think a lot of people walk into a gig like we do, like insurance, real estate, mortgages, and they think, oh my God, I got 150 friends. You know what I mean, that I can reach out to right now.
Yeah,
But it's not that easy. You know what I mean? You have to continue to make those calls. Those wheels need to keep turning. And like I'll tell you, like as somebody who has sat on my ass for a while, it takes a little bit to just revive yourself and get back going.
Sure.
So you think about like if you just stop and look at Facebook and turn your mind off for a second, it takes you another 30 minutes to get back up and running. You know, like if you do that 4 or 5 times a day, that's your half of your day. You know what
It's
I
a
mean?
good chunk of it.
And that's why time blocking is so important. You need to set aside those 4 hours and understand that there's going to be 30 minutes that you're going to be on Facebook or on LinkedIn or whatever, and you have to be prepared to work through that. You know what I mean? Hit your calls, hit your goals.
Sure.
Goal setting is important, and you know that.
I think
through
one of my
progress, you know,
biggest
like,
things is
keep,
the biggest
keep
thing.
working
I have
towards
learned
it.
Write
that I
it
can't
down.
put anything off. I don't care if I get one email, one text message. I have to get right on it because as soon as I start putting that stuff off, all of a
then it
sudden that turns
snowballs.
into
Yeah.
4 or 5, and then
Mhm.
I'm doing yesterday's work instead of today's
Yep.
work, and you know, we need to wrap this up.
I think that's a
We're
perfect
getting
place
there.
to end it.
No, not yet, because
No?
we still have to do Collins wins. What do you got?
Yeah. No, I actually, so my biggest win is, and I don't know if anybody knows who Synergy Wealth is, but they're a Mass Mutual powered company. And so for the better half of these last 4 years, I really haven't done too much life insurance. I've always been life licensed, but I just partnered with them, and they're a very they're probably one of the biggest fastest growing wealth management companies in St. Louis. And I was able to get a contract with them. So that's what I'm focusing on now, is how to build my clientele. You know, I think life insurance right now is more important than ever. And I think for me, I look at it a little bit different. You know, like my dad died when I was 2 years old. You know, I can see how that can, you know, tear a
Change
family
a life.
apart. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have that sole provider, that sole income coming in to provide for your family and your kids, you know, like you know, your spouse is going to have a tough time. You know what I mean? And that's just the reality of it. So I really want to get into it.
That's
And
your
so
biggest project this month
That's my
or this
biggest.
week?
That's my biggest project for
Like how long
for
does
this
something
month.
like that take? For a month?
Oh no. I just making the calls and getting my name out there. I don't know
Sure.
how long. I've never really done it before. I've never really spun
See,
down
that's
that
exactly
avenue.
what we were talking
Yeah.
about. Like if it's a difficult time in your life right now, just pivot.
Yeah, just pivot. Yeah, that's
What do you
I'm
got?
doing.
Anything good?
You know what? Specifically, I have had 2 clients who have quite literally quit their big franchise gyms, quit the fees and everything else just to stick solely with me. So for a guy who's running an operation out of a 2-car attached garage, that's like more
A
than
big
I
deal.
could. Yeah, I mean, I can't even explain to you how
Right.
incredible that is to me. So that loyalty and that trust for me is only going to keep building and keep compounding exponentially.
And now you can bank
so-
on that money. So when you plan financially,
Yeah, I mean, you know, right
you know
now,
that
I
that's
mean,
coming in
I
and
quite
it's not day
literally
by
did
day.
this for free for a few months before I started generating anything. But yes, I mean, you know, that aspect is huge as well. But to be honest with you, I'm not really tripping because I found my lane, so I know everything's gonna be cool there. But yeah, I mean, you know, for surely, again, yeah, that's another aspect that I can't. You know, people are willing to give their hard-earned dollars over to me for me to help make them better, and that's huge.
how much would
So
I have
that's a
to
big
pay you
W.
to shave that mustache?
Man, you better start. Yeah, I would get some bids going because it'd
Yeah.
be up there.
We'll donate it to
It'd
charity.
be up there
yeah.
for sure. You know how much I've gone through in my personal life to keep this thing? You think the missus is happy about this?
She's been smiling a
can't
lot lately.
My 1.5-year-old tries tearing it off my face. So yeah, but we could get a bid going for sure. Let's work that into it as well.
Share some W's.
Yeah, what's up?
I had 2 accepted contracts Monday, so we did a
There you
twofer. I think everything's pretty clean. We do have one little obstacle left, but you know when you get those accepted contracts, you want to go crazy and start popping champagne, but there's still 30 days of work.
Yeah.
between every time you close. There's a difference between closing and getting accepted, you know. So I still got to close.
I'm all too privy.
Then I got one out tonight, which we were supposed to hear about by 7 o'clock. He called me today, said that's not going to happen. It's going to be after that. So I
But
hate
it's not a
waiting.
no.
It's not a no, exactly. And I was just, you know, trying to be flexible, you know, because you give people these hard deadlines, and if they don't meet them, it can be difficult
Yeah.
to explain that to somebody, you know, because it kind of falls in your lap. However, my people are cool, so they're moving, and then I'm going to list their house next month.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got
Awesome.
shout outs except for Habes and Buddy Fun, Pedal the Cause, Steve Bowman, Jim Stout.
I was gonna say I think we covered
Yeah,
a lot
I think
during
we hit
it.
all the shout outs that we should.
Did we?
Yeah,
If we
I
I
mean,
feel like this
any,
was
we
a
can get
light
it next
shout out
time.
episode. Yeah.
No, well, we shouted out a lot of people, I think,
Yeah, we
throughout
just-
the
yeah,
episode.
we-
You know?
Mixed it in. Yeah.
Cool. So 2 weeks from now, John Haberberger.
Yeah.
2 weeks after that, Corey and Thomas, Buddy Fun. Then we got Corey with Pedal the Cause at the end of August.
Yeah.
Cool.
And anybody, just to throw it out there to all the listeners, if you think that we should have somebody else on here,
Yeah, tell 'em to
share
call
it.
me.
Let us know. You know what I mean? Like
Charity
that's
suggestions and event suggestions.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
kind of what I
absolutely.
was saying about spinning the wheel. you know?
absolutely. This
We
is
need that.
definitely a
We're open to
brainstorming,
everything, so for surely.
brainstorming.
Yeah. It was a good
group, so.
brainstorm today. Colin, if somebody has to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
Email or email or phone, or hit me up on LinkedIn or Facebook. My email is my first dot last name at crawfordbutts.com. Butts is BUTZ, like zebra.com.
Corey, what do you got? How do we get a hold of you?
Just hit up PRGS_fitness24 on Instagram. That's where everything's going from right now. So follow that, and then we'll get it cracking.
And then for insurance?
Corey Donovan at ATINSUR.com. Or again, just go ahead and hit up Progress, and we can take care of everything at once.
And then my favorite right now, just send me a friend request on Zillow. Add as your agent, Mick Classic, KLASEK. I'm the only classic in the state.
Do I gotta have an account on Zillow to do that?
They'll ask for your email, yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, but I mean, it just it makes Zillow less annoying for you, and that's what I like
Yeah.
about it.
Okay.
You know, so
That's word.
Yeah. I'll
that's
go
all
get
we
that
got.
done.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Peace.
Deuces.
That was a good one. I like that one.
This is what I was getting at from the beginning.
Yeah.
I think we should just